Well, Chris, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Your beer looks better than mine. This stuff sucks. I'm going to do an
Uh,
endorsement. This is bad beer. It really sucks.
this is a Bitburger Premium Pilsner, and I highly recommend it. It's very
There you go.
delicious.
I like the way you kind of did this. That was you could do like the Vanna White thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I didn't want to cover the label.
Yeah,
Drink
very
this
nice.
beer.
This stuff it's gluten free, which I did on a whim, and I'm not happy I did. And on my screen,
Okay.
it shows backwards. Does it show normal on your screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing it normal. Redbridge.
All right, there you go. They're going to sue me now. Well, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So we had all these technical difficulties, but now we seem to be good, and I'm test driving my cool new microphone here. You're my
Yeah,
first
well, the
ever
the
on this.
microphone sounds great on my end, and I apologize for any technical difficulties that I may have brought to the table.
I
I
lost
like to
my
think to
temper, as you
myself
can tell.
as a technically prowess person, and nothing worked. So sorry.
It's what Todd or Scott. I almost said Todd, his brother Todd. Scott Engel lined us up. Scott Guitar Assist Engel, and he said you're a gearhead. So we'll have to delve into that a little bit. But let's
Sure.
but let's take a step back. So you were a member of the band Who Brought the Dog, and they could find you at whobrought.thedog.com.
That is absolutely correct. Thank you.
And you're a guitar player, right?
I am a guitar player,
I
and
watched.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go. You go. It's all right.
The heritage of Who Brought the Dog actually goes back way back to Monty Entertainment, or Rob Monty's old band was called Who Brought the Dog, and Rob Monty's now our agent.
Oh,
And when
really?
we were putting our new band back together, he's like, "Hey, I always liked that name, Who Brought the Dog? Will you guys want to use that?" And we're like, "Okay." And
That's
there
a
it is.
great name. So
Yeah. So
what's
it's
the backstory behind the name?
uh, if you've ever seen Ghostbusters,
Yes.
Rick Moranis walks into the room and he's like, "Hey, who brought the dog?"
Oh,
That was
that's
it.
great.
If you look it up on YouTube, Rick Moranis, who brought the dog, it pops right up.
Oh,
So
that's
that's really where it
fantastic.
came from. Very, very old school for the old people that young people won't know what that is.
Yeah, you know what the worst thing is? I think of that as like a recent movie. Like that's how old I am. I don't even.
Not that long ago, a friend of mine and myself went to AC Theater in Red Bank. You're frozen, and they did a rescreening of Ghostbusters, and we went, and it was great. It was $5. It was awesome.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt myself freezing. Like my whole body shudders when it happens when the computer does it, and I got a cold chill. But
that's funny.
so
You did I freeze after you?
your
Is that
voice warbled a little bit, but you didn't
oh
visually
nice?
freeze.
I do that on purpose, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to
Just
say, you have some pretty nice digs you're hanging out in here. That's beautiful behind you. Is that just like a fake kind of like a green screen thing you're doing to us?
absolutely 100%. When it comes to the Zune, right? I
Yeah.
heard you could put your own background, so I put this nice baby grand piano in the background. Yeah, it was fun.
Very nice. You're actually in a garbage pit right now in real life, right? That's a
Only I knew
fancy
how to.
trick.
Yeah, if only I knew how to play it.
Oh, that's cool. So now, what's your main guitar you play with?
I'm a big Frankenstrat guy, so I buy parts from Warmouth out of Washington.
Okay.
American-made Strat replica parts, and I just build my own Strats. So I'm
Really?
Frankenstrat. Even I have two PRSs. I
Okay.
kind of gutted those and franked them up a little bit too, but they're both set necks, so there was not so much I couldn't take the neck off, change,
Are you a maple
that
or
kind of thing. But a
rosewood
big
guy?
fan. I'm an ebony guy.
Oh, really?
Ebony all the way. Absolutely. I have ebony on my acoustic guitar. I have ebony on all my electric guitars, 100%, except one. One guitar I have a rosewood neck.
I don't like rosewood. Ebony, I had the old Kramer. I want to say the 350 model with the aluminum neck, and I think that had an ebony fretboard.
Holy moly. I remember those things.
Yeah, that was some guitar. The neck was 8,000 pounds.
Oh, you're frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet it was. I remember somebody had a bass like that with the aluminum neck on it. It was like, wow, what is that? That's the coolest thing ever.
it is.
Now it's like, what is that?
Yeah, they're worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
I traded mine in at Seagert Music to get a Westbury. Remember those, the Westbury
Hmm.
guitars? And it was like an SG-ish kind of guitar, and it was pretty nice. Like they built
I,
it pretty well.
I was always a big fan of the SG, except for the fact that when you're holding them up, the kind of the headstock tilts
Yeah.
forward when you're playing. So unless you're sitting down, it's like you're always holding it up with your left hand.
Yeah, because the body weighed nothing on those. Absolutely
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The headstock weighed more than the body.
Right, right. So what when you build a Frankenstrat, so tell me, let's start at the headstock. What kind of tuners do you use? Like how do you put it together?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like my Frankenstrats because, well, I'm jumping right to the EMGs. I put EMGs in almost every single one of them.
Okay.
Nobody likes the EMGs, but I'm learning how to play guitars without EMGs. But tuner wise, most of them have Floyd Roses on them,
Which are
so I
great.
almost don't even care what tuners are on them. My one Frankenstrat, which is like an SRV Strat ripoff, it's
Okay.
got vintage gold tuners on it that came right off an SRV
Oh wow.
signature Strat, which was cool. I had to take the original SRV baseball bat off. It was enormous. It was like grabbing a flagpole, and it only had 21 frets, and I had to have that 22nd fret. They have to have it.
You
You
have to
have
have it.
to.
You have
You
to.
ca
You need it.
but Stevie was a master. He just grabbed that thing and bended it, a little further than the rest of us. But
I'll never tire of watching that guy. It just
no, no, me neither. Me neither. One of the greatest of all time, and I enjoy actually getting into the debate
hmm
of who's better,
I
Hendrix, Ray
froze and then
Vaughan.
you froze. Wait, the
Because
debate
to me, it's no debate.
start. So all right, that was pretty good.
The
um,
debate between Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix.
I like Stevie Ray better. I don't know that he is better. I think his stuff was more musical.
That's a fair assessment, and that's where I always land. I like
Yeah.
him better. I like him better as a player. And musical, I think you nailed it right on the head. Beautiful musical player.
Yeah.
And that's a real turn on, when you could listen to something and it gets you pumped, it gets you
Right.
jazzed. You're like, oh my God, that's just so good. That's nice.
Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix just didn't do that for me,
no,
you
I could
know.
recognize his greatness.
But,
What is what? Crosstown Traffic, right?
mhm.
That grooves. But a lot of his stuff, I'm amazed at what he's doing, but I don't enjoy the music as much as I'm amazed by it. Whereas with Stevie Ray, you could put his stuff on old school AM radio and it would be listenable. Yeah.
Absolutely right.
And
Yeah,
I love one of
very
my
well said.
favorite tunes he did with his brother. Was it TikTok People? It's an old tune from like probably late '80s, I think. I think it's called TikTok People, and it's just like this beautiful song. And his brother is playing as much as he is. He doesn't show off on it at all, but it's just a fantastic tune. And I put it on my playlist. It's an old tune that no one knows, and it's fantastic. All right, Ron Wood or Keith Richards?
Oh, Lordy B. Um, uh,
Thanks.
Anybody else?
No, just they'll be because they're both in the Stones.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not a big Stones fan.
Oh, you're
I'm
not.
a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Stones versus Beatles conversation.
Wait, which? Wait,
I'm a big Beatles head versus Stones. I have to admit.
oh, I'll take the Stones over the Beatles any
You
day.
froze.
Yeah. How about now?
Yeah, yeah. There is that. A lot of people are
Yeah.
like that. The Stones are a little more rock and roll. I think the Beatles were
Yeah.
a little more melodic. But when the
Yeah.
Beatles first started, let's face it, they were a boy band basically.
Yeah.
Very, very just poppy. But their later stuff was really good, albeit it only took them 7 years to make that development.
I know. Right, right. Well, the funny thing is, think of the mark they left, and they're pretty much done by 73, 74. So, like 10 years done,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is
13
amazing.
albums, two movies.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're still in our little world the biggest band ever, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Unless you're Stones head,
right. Yeah, no, I mean
we won't hold that against you.
I think they're objectively better than the Stones. It's the same thing. I like the Stones better.
Yeah,
But but I
if you
I'm
like
not
the music better, you like the music better,
yeah.
right?
But I don't like Keith Richards. I like Ron Wood, especially the stuff he did with Rod Stewart.
All
You know.
right.
Small faces. You like the small faces or the
I never really followed Ron Wood because I'm just that wasn't from my elk. When I grew up and I started playing guitar, I was more in the Metallica, Queensryche, Megadeth,
right, right, right.
Motorhead, Overkill. I came from that And then I had to work my way backwards
Right.
to good music, you know, to the Led Zeppelins of the world,
The
which was
Zeps.
interesting because I never liked Jimmy Page. I was like, oh, Jimmy Page, he's terrible, he's sloppy, he's
Well,
this,
he's
that, and the
so
other thing.
sloppy, but he's so good.
One of the greatest guitar players of
Yeah.
all time, and the writing in Led Zeppelin is masterful.
All
You
right.
can't even compare it.
What's the guitar movie with Page, The Edge, and I always forget who else?
Uh, was it the Jack Black?
Not Jack Black.
It was
Because Jack Black's the,
Jack.
but that's what I was thinking. It's someone
Oh,
Jack
the
White. Jack
Rocketeers
White.
guy. The Rocket.
Jack
Jack
White.
White. Sorry. What did I say? I was close.
You
White,
were
black.
close.
Green.
Yeah. So
I was almost exactly right, except exactly opposite.
that's exactly wrong, right? And I felt so bad for the Edge because he just didn't belong, and I love the Edge.
You know, that was a very interesting movie. A couple of guys, I was working at Island Def Jam Records at the time,
Okay.
and they got in touch with me through Facebook, and they were guitar players from back in high school, and they're both working in the city now too. And they contacted me, says, "Hey, we're going to see this movie. You want to go?" So the three
Yeah.
of us got together. We hadn't seen each other in like 20 years. We went and we sat down, we watched this movie, and then went out and had some beers and talked about the movie afterwards. So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting because I was like, well, Paige is just the master of everything. Why are these
Yeah.
other two guys here?
Yeah. That's how I felt.
And I started to appreciate the Edge in that movie. I was never a big U2 fan. I was never a big guy of press all your pedals and make a bunch of noise, but don't
Yeah.
play your guitar, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense. But after watching that movie, I actually learned an appreciation for him, which was good.
He's
I
more of
guess.
an. I think he's more of an artist than a guitarist. You
Mm-hmm.
know? I mean, I'm a U2. I love U2, but I don't. You know, like the Edge. I just think he just makes these beautiful layers of sound. It's almost like he's a studio engineer who plays guitar.
Right.
You know?
You're not going to sit down and have a guitar god conversation and
No.
bring him into it, right?
No.
And I don't know what Jack White was doing there. I have no idea.
I don't. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. So you just gave us a great segue because our publicist would get really upset with me if I didn't talk about the liner notes he gave me. So
Oh,
you were all involved with the whole Napster thing, or you're familiar with it, like when the record industry didn't really respond to Napster.
oh, I was working at Island Def Jam Records at the time when Napster, you know, basically mortified the
Right.
music industry, and that's really what happened. And I'll try to sum this up
Yeah.
in as little words as possible. I don't think the music industry was necessarily not on board with trying to get somewhere where they can help facilitate something similar
Right.
so much as the legalities and the logistics involved with putting something together like that and keeping people paid was the biggest problem.
Right.
So their initial reaction was to fight back because in order for them to put a platform together to even make it remotely legal and competitive, it would years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do it. I mean, basically they were caught with their pants down and there
Right.
was nothing they could do except cry foul.
Right.
And
It was a big deal back then, and Napster's gone, but
well,
it's been replaced, right?
oh yeah, well, even iTunes Music is almost gone, right? As we know it, they're a subscription service now, and Spotify's, and you know that
Yeah.
look how long it took them to disappear. Not very long in
No,
the
you're
grand
right.
scheme of the life cycle of things.
Right.
It, if you wrote a song and you lived in Spain, and you were signed to my record label in New York City, and now all of a sudden somebody wanted to buy your music in Australia, how do you get paid? Well,
Right.
with Napster, nobody got paid, so it didn't matter. But in the real world, there were limitations of physical boundaries, and
Right.
those laws didn't exist. And the globalization of those laws didn't exist. So to get it to go from the United States to Canada, Mexico, and then spread out all over the world, it took a long time. It took a long time to get it together. Even when iTunes first launched, they were putting together 200 song pop rock packages. They weren't paying anybody for that stuff.
Right.
They were just milking their library and putting it out there. So it was a big deal. I don't know if I explained that properly, but I
No,
tried to
that's
do it as quickly and as painless as possible.
no, it's interesting stuff. Like I have what do you call it? Apple Music. I don't even know I bought it.
Hmm.
I just said something to my phone, and the next thing you know, I get a
Right.
bill showing up because I connected a credit card, with Apple Pay or whatever the hell it's called. And I know, if I say right now, Siri, play Led Zeppelin, she'll do it. If I say, hey, Siri, she'll interrupt
Is
the show.
Alexa still on behind you?
No, here, look, she's
I
doing it
was
right
going to
now.
say,
Here, what, you want to see something really cool?
yeah,
Watch this.
there
Hang
it
on.
is.
Wait, watch this. I haven't done this. All right, let me put this on camera. Hang on. All right. Hey, Siri, play Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen.
Now playing podcast Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen.
Very cool. Play the episode with Christopher Ramos from WhoBroughtTheDog.com.
That would be like the coolest time warp kind of thing, wouldn't it? It would be even
Yeah, right.
scarier if I said that and it had you saying things you haven't said yet.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I could be intellectually smarter
that's right.
now
You would be
instead of
like
later.
it would be like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You'd like
I
future.
didn't see the new movie. Didn't see it.
Nor I. Nor I.
No spoilers.
I will not read it
Okay.
because I haven't seen it.
I heard
Um,
it was. I heard it was no good, but that's besides the point.
yeah, but they're telling us it's good. On Facebook, like every 5 minutes, I get a note that says everyone likes it. So they wouldn't lie to me, would they?
Well, then it must be true. It
Yeah.
must be. If the internet says it, it must be
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Is that a quick segue to holy cow? Facebook shutting off live music streams, friends.
You know what? I need your help with this. This is a perfect segue. So, I play a little guitar. I'm not at your level or Scott's level. I was like garage bands in high school, college, and a little bit in law school, and that's it. So I'm seeing a lot of people talking. A lot of our guests who've been on Guitar Tales are complaining about what's going on, and I'd like to hear about what really is happening with Facebook. Because all I'm hearing is people reacting to it, but I haven't heard what really is happening, only the reaction. So what has Facebook done, and what are you guys trying to do about it?
It's interesting because I've heard some people getting shut down. I've heard some of their videos being shut off if it's not their music and this and that. And we have videos that we put up on Facebook and nobody has said anything to us.
Right.
So, is it because not enough people saw it? I don't know. During the COVID days or the shutdown days, we did quarantine sessions and we did 5 or 6 videos, something like that. One of them being a Paranoid remake, which is absolutely fantastic.
I watched
and
it.
everybody should go on the Who Brought the Dog page and watch that.
So it is whobrought.thedog.com.
WhoBroughtTheDog.com or our Facebook page, Who Brought the Dog Band.
Okay. I saw your
and
Facebook page. Cool.
And you could find the Paranoid video, which is very cool. But we didn't get shut down and we didn't get muted like other people were getting muted. But our specs on the pages, we came across 10,000 people.
Okay.
So the video was seen. Maybe they didn't watch the whole thing. Maybe they only watched the first 10 seconds. Maybe they only watched the first 15 seconds, whatever it was. But I would think that would be enough. So I don't know what they're doing for the shutdown, but I hear now that it's coming October 1st. And this was just from something I read yesterday. So I'm not even kind of fully up to speed on the whole thing. But from what I understand is if you don't own the rights to the music, you can't even live stream it. So if you're at your friend's show
Wow.
at the bar and you're like, oh, here, everybody, look, I'm checking these guys out. And you put the poop, they're going to delete it.
Wow.
Which makes me believe, and I no longer work for the record company, that they finally got to them. But, 20 years too late.
Right. So that's interesting. And what's their game plan? Do they want someone in a cover band playing in a bar for $500 that night to call their PR person or their marketing person and say, "Here, we want to give you $38"? Like what's their plan?
That's a really good question because the bars that actually keep up with the ABC rules and licensing and ASCAP and BMI licensing, they pay a blanket license to have cover bands play in their bars.
Okay.
So they're actually covered under that license. So what's the problem? I have no idea. That it's not like if I somebody comes, you come and take 15 seconds of my band playing, that you're monetizing it or we're getting paid. Nobody's getting paid. So I don't understand why they're doing it. Maybe they're just trying to direct people's focus to newer, more terrible music. I don't know.
Right. You know what's interesting? The lawyer in me is coming out right now, and I'm not a constitutional law lawyer at all. But we don't like monopolies in this country. At least theoretically we don't. And what a great example. Remember you're an old fart like me. I don't think you're as old, but when
Thank
they
you.
broke, what are you? Late 40s?
28.
There you go. 60, 88.
Right.
But remember when they broke up Ma Bell? They said, all right, you guys are too big. We're going to break you up. But look at Facebook. It just sort of crept up on us.
Sure.
What do we have? MySpace? There's no competition. So when Facebook says to someone like you, fuck you, you can't put your stuff on our platform, what are your options? I mean, you have Instagram and all that.
Exactly.
But Facebook owns Instagram.
Isn't Instagram owned by Facebook?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they have a true monopoly, and something like the planet Earth has never seen, because it's not just even this country. I don't know the numbers, but I would imagine that Facebook is in the billions as opposed to the millions.
Yeah. Last I heard, yeah, it was in the billions. And I don't remember Ma Bell because I wasn't old enough.
Right.
Right.
Good eye roller.
I remember when they broke Ma Bell up. I was like, wow, holy cow, they're breaking up the telephone company. I couldn't believe it.
Because AT&T wasn't anything back then. It was
Right.
It was Bell Telephone. So, but what you're talking about is a really good example of, how when you get a monopoly like this, people get screwed. Because there is not a privately owned Instagram to say to Facebook, all right, we're going to take all these unhappy campers away from your business. We'll give you a little bit of healthy competition and maybe you'll react. Your best hope is that because Mark Zuckerberg tries not to be a tyrant and doesn't want people to think he's a tyrant, that maybe you can get through to him. But that's it. They can do it. They're private. They can do whatever they want.
Just because you pretend doesn't mean it's actually true.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is the next step? So where do you go? If you want to sit down right now, or let's say not right now, let's say October 5th, because I hear it's going to be October 1st.
Right.
And you want to play a little ditty, a Beatles song on your acoustic guitar, and you want to put it on your page for people to see, you can't do it?
No,
that's
I guess
insane.
Not. And the problem, with my skill set, it would be indistinguishable from the Beatles. So it would be even harder,
talent is not necessarily everything. And no. I don't know if that's the next segue. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of people in your day that have plenty of talent but don't know what to do with it.
Well,
and plenty of people that don't have a lot of talent that can make 3 chords sing.
Yeah.
So
what's the Bob Dylan quote? 3 chords in the truth, right? Something like that. That's the Bob.
Right.
Well,
it goes a long way. I mean, look at a band like Nirvana, right? He's no spectacular guitar player, but boy, they make great music.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit in on a metaphoric chord that we've heard a bunch of times on this show, and in the last few Zoom episodes too. People talking about the fact that they would rather work with someone who is a good person, who emotes positive energy, and maybe even if their skill level on the guitar or whatever instrument's a little lower, than someone who's a virtuoso who's an asshole. I hear that everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a universal truth.
I don't think anybody first picked up a guitar and said, okay, well, I'm going to be a rock star one day. Or maybe they did, but they explored it and they found it for a personal reason. It touched them. It found them. They found it, and it's magical. And only us guitar players know that magic. And, to play with somebody who wants to just take all that away from you, it's the worst. It's like, no, you got to go. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah. Or you get the volume hogs,
That don't even get me going there. People that don't know how to play mixed to the band that you're playing with.
Right.
Like, I'm the only one exists. I'm just going to turn everything up because everybody thinks I'm cool. And it's like, nobody thinks you're cool.
No.
No,
I
no.
had a I had a little trick. What actually you too. What's this song? I think Pride. You know that little trilly kind of thing. So I was able to play the entire song except for that.
Hmm.
We had another guitar player. So I would actually shut my volume and pretend to play it while he actually played it.
Very
And that
cool.
was my dirty little trick. And
And did you got away with it?
yeah, I mean, to the
What-
extent anyone but me cared. Um, but yeah, but we would have all these battles, and I just in my mind I just wanted to be heard, but maybe in the other guy's mind he just wants to be heard, and then you just keep going like this, and you need either a singer or a drummer to just get everyone to calm down, someone who could sort of be a fly on the wall between the competing stringed instruments.
Well, I think that's where somebody's sense of true professionalism,
Yeah,
excuse me, comes in, and they say, okay, this isn't all about me. I have
yeah,
my moments where I do my solo parts. Those are my parts where I step forward and take my solo. But this is a group
yeah,
act, and we need to sound good as a band, not just me flailing off at a million miles an hour at 100 dBs or whatever it is.
right,
So, and that's where the professionals know how to sit back and put it into the mix. They can hear the band around them, and they know when to step up. They can hear the dynamics, and they know when to swell. They know when to come back. They know when to go back in. They know when to come back. And other people, and when you get all the people in the room together that know how to do that collectively, that's the band.
right,
Welcome
right,
to the
right.
band.
And the universal truth I've also been hearing when I interview folks is that it's always about making the people who came to see you feel happiness. It's not about you. It's not about what they think of you. It's about you making them happy.
Right. For all the guitar gods out there, there's one guy in the back of the room that cares. The
Right.
other people just want to be happy.
Yes.
They just want to, unless you're Yngwie Malmsteen and all the little guitar heads are coming to see you rip a bunch. They want to be happy. Music, happy. It's the reason why we all started playing guitars. It made us happy. And
Right.
people get away from that because their egos get in the way, and it's a shame.
Right. And then ultimately, the people out there,
There you go.
you're
Not
getting
anybody I know, though.
now.
I
But
froze for a second. Sorry.
right. Yeah. So yeah. So the folks who are just focused on the bad part of it, they're making that one guy in the corner sort of appreciate it, but then he's probably going to get insecure because he wishes he could do that or she could do that, and then everyone else is miserable. Um,
Yeah.
so what's the Scott? We talked a bunch of times on the show. The Van Halen solo. It's Eruption.
Eruption.
Had all sorts of controversy about whether or not one should play Eruption at a gig. Where do you stand on that one?
You know, there's one guy, I guess Scott probably's mentioned him before, Dave Crum, the guy from Big Bang
He's
Baby. And I know
he's
you,
been on. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
I
great.
know you've had Paul on the show. I remember
Yeah,
watching when you had Tommy John, Ronan Scott,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he does it, and it's pretty cool.
yeah.
But I wonder, the last time I saw him do it, if I was like, I think I might be the only person who really appreciates this right now.
It's
Yeah,
such a great little unimportant non-political controversy we could chat about, But and I suppose maybe the answer is if only a few bands do it, it's cool. I know with a fair amount of confidence, if every band did it at every gig, it would not be successful. They want to hear Neil Diamond.
Yeah, I think some of the younger kids that are going out to the bars that are seeing live music, which by the way is becoming less and less, and well, the quarantine thing's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
But they probably don't even know what it is.
right,
That's
right,
just the guy shredding out a guitar, and it's pretty darn cool.
right. Well, I remember.
And it is darn cool.
Oh, it is. So I saw Yes in the Round in '78, and I didn't know the clap yet. So what you just said is dead on. So I'm 14 years old, and I just heard the greatest guitar solo I've ever heard on an acoustic guitar. And then I later find out, no, he already wrote it, and it's like it's a composed thing. But that's what
Right, right.
number of years later, and that was not an old song when I heard it. It might have been new. I don't know what year they came out with that, but it's what is it, 10, 14 minutes long? That the clap. It's a long acoustic guitar solo, but I saw it in my inebriated 14-year-old state, and
Uh-huh.
you know, I got served at 14 at Gus's Bar in New York. When I was 14, I looked like I was 9, and I
Ah,
got
the good old days, right?
yeah, I know, right by Madison Square Garden. But I saw him play the clap, and it was just being, and I was a brand new guitar player then, but I was just shocked by how good it is.
That's fantastic. Yeah, those moments are irreplaceable, right?
Yeah,
You experience something like that, and that makes your whole world of guitar playing just that much more interesting because you always have that special moment with you. You're still talking about it now,
I know.
and
It's
think about how
amazing.
long ago that was.
And I
Yeah.
remember this. When I saw them, it was Alan White's birthday.
Oh, very
And I
cool.
only know that because they announced it to the crowd, but for whatever weird reason, that kind of stuck with me. You know,
And how old were you when you saw that?
I was 14, born in 64.
14. I think when I was 14, I saw Def Leppard open up for Billy Squier.
Oh, that's not Billy Squire. I was a huge Billy Squire fan.
I didn't even know
One
who Billy
album,
Squier
one good
was.
album. What's that?
I didn't know who he was at the time.
Yeah.
And I walked out of there with my jaw on the floor. I'm like, he was so fantastic. And then Def Leppard opened up for Billy Squier, so that gives you an idea how long ago that was.
Yeah, well, his really big year was like 81, 82, I think.
Yeah, that was 80. That was 82.
Yeah.
That was 82 because I saw Judas Priest and Iron Maiden the same year.
Yeah.
I saw Iron Maiden open up for Judas Priest.
And,
My cousin used to be a ticket scalper.
oh,
And
all
when I
right.
was in junior high, he used to take me to all these cool concerts. I saw Van Halen and Rush, but it was, yeah. There's
Did you
some
s-
I specifically remember that were just fantastic.
Did you see them with Sammy or did you see them with Dave?
I saw him with Dave.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
that was a lot of fun.
I
That
saw
was a
them with
lot. I was a
Sammy.
big David Lee Roth fan. I like
Oh, he
David
was
Lee Roth.
great. Not no more. I can't even watch those videos now.
It's so bad. It's like just please stop and let me hold on to the fond memories that I
I
have.
know. He's like vaudeville right now.
Yeah, it really is bad. It's bad.
And you listen to him on his podcast. He's so manic.
Oh,
He's a very smart man, but
yeah.
he's just manic now.
Not smart enough to know that he should just stop making those
Oh,
videos.
it's so bad. And
Just stop going
Sammy's
on tour.
Yep, and Sammy's doing everything right. The Circle is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
They're
Awesome. Killer. I saw the live thing they did on the Howard Stern show. I was like,
oh my
man, this
God.
is rocking. And he's 70 years old.
Have you heard the Van Halen with Sammy version of Won't Get Fooled Again?
No, I have not.
They just did it as a goof. Go on YouTube because
And it's a studio version?
it's just screwing around in the studio version.
Okay, cool.
And I'm a Who fanatic, so I'll go on like a YouTube journey now and then and say, all right, who did the best cover of Won't Get Fooled Again? Rush's is okay, but I think theirs is the best out there. It's
Wow.
pretty cool, but very good
I'll
stuff.
definitely give that.
So let me do this for our little
Okay.
final segment here. Talk to us about how COVID's treating you. I'm finding interesting information from different artists and musicians about what positive they get from it, and we all know what negative they get. But how are you doing with COVID as a musician?
Initially, instantly, obviously, we're out of business, right? No gigs.
Yeah.
So we went right to recording the videos, like the Paranoid video that you saw on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And we just cut a bunch of tunes, and we had a great time doing it because the band was still staying in touch. We were
Yeah.
passing around tracks by email, was sitting down, was mixing, was editing, was singing songs. So that was kind of cool, and you were kind of forced to pay attention to it, kind of get back to the simplicity of songs.
Right.
They're not so hectic. The parts are very simple, but everything is very well placed. And even when we took songs that we were playing for years and we had to bring them back to a studio session, it was like, oh wow, we really started muddling these things up and playing all over them, and we reeled it back in and made everything simple again. So that was great. But then things started to open up again. So it was
Right.
like, okay, people are starting to go out just a little bit.
Right.
We
25%.
can't, the whole band can't go out, so I guess only 25% of the band can go out.
Wow.
Segue to who brought the duo. who is Frank, the other guitar player from the band, and myself are doing a duo acoustic. We play every Tuesday night at Bar A in Belmar if anybody wants to come down and hang out. And so we had no choice, right? Who brought the duo?
Right.
There we go. But in that process, we also started Who Brought the Wedding.
Oh my
We're
God, I
going to
love
start.
it.
Well,
writing
we
this down.
realized that a lot of people got their weddings canceled this year.
Right.
And next year, everything's already full. And things are going to broaden. There's going to be Thursday night weddings. There's going to be Sunday night weddings. There's probably going to be 2 Sunday weddings. And there's going to be weddings in different places next year because people need to get married because they all got canceled. So we started Who Brought the Wedding. So now that we went into COVID as Who Brought the Dog. Now we have Who Brought the Dog, Who Brought the Duo, and Who Brought the Wedding. Even though it's really all Who Brought the Dog, but that's just what we call it.
I love that. I love that.
So now we're starting. So we're in the middle now of recording our demo. We have the video we're doing on in December, and next year we're going to launch doing that stuff. We're going to do some wedding stuff along with the club stuff and along with the duo stuff. So we actually broadened our business.
This is a universal message, like there's no doubt that COVID's horrible. It sucks. But I think it's inspiring what I've heard from so many artists like you is that you've taken it as an opportunity to expand either your business or your art. I've had guitar players say I've become a better guitar player since I've been shut in, that focusing on their craft, not just their
Better
art.
believe that.
Yeah.
Enjoyable too. I've said that to several of my friends several times. Oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing my guitar and I enjoy it. I'm really having a good time.
Oh, that's cool.
Sitting down, just really getting back to the bricks, that got me going in the first place. And it's a lot of fun.
So
it's a lot of fun.
That's a good thing. Well, I got to tell you, I've had a good time tonight, and as it always is, the time flies when we do it. We've been going. There you go. I like that endorsement. I'm going to do this. Look, because I don't like it. See, I'm not even showing the label for this beer, but it is empty. So I just have a little bit of.
I took it easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to kill the recording now, but I had a great time, and I'm going to say one last time. WhoBroughtTheDog.com. Right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
This was fun. And when we get the studio back opened again, we'll get you in there.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Well, have a good night.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. You too, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.